Welcome everyone to the series Excel one step at a time. In this video, we'll go over the data types you can enter into a cell within a worksheet. I have a demo created to walk through the data types available. If you would like, you are free to download this demo from our website at www.optivest.net. Once you get to the site, on the menu bar, you want to go to Education, Excel, and find the data types video. In the description, there is a link to the file. Take a moment to pause the video now and download the file. Now that we have the file downloaded and opened, let's go through the data types. In Excel, you're free to type in whatever you want into a cell. It could be letters, numbers, symbols, whatever your heart desires. This is why, as a default, Excel has a data type set to general, meaning it will accept whatever you type into the cell. The ribbon has an area where you can view and change the data type you have selected. Here in the ribbon, you will go to the Home tab and go to the right until you reach the area labeled Number. Here is where you will see the data type that is being used in the cell. As I mentioned, when you have it set to general, as it is now, you can put any value you want within the cell, but there will come a time where you want the data to look a certain way. If you're working with dollar figures, you may want to add in a dollar sign and maybe even the 2 zeros after the decimal point to make it look more presentable for yourself or for somebody else. You can do this manually, but after doing this for a few times, it gets tiring. This is where changing the data type comes in handy. By changing the data type for a cell or a range of cells, it does the formatting you need for you. Going back to the ribbon, in the number section, there's a drop-down menu where you can change the data type. There are several data types we can choose from. You can choose from number, currency, accounting, short date, long date, time, percentage, fraction, scientific, text, and two additional that you don't see here, which are special and custom. Now you could see those two by clicking on the last option here, more number formats, and you see special and custom at the end. This window you can also bring up by right-clicking within a cell. So any cell, go ahead and right-click, go to Format Cells, and it'll bring up the menu there as well. Now in this video, we don't have time for every single data type, so we're going to go over a few of the more common data types for now. In later videos, we'll touch on more complex data types. Let's now begin the exercise below. To the left, you see the table of data that we're going to format. To the right are the instructions we are given on how to format the table. Now let's start with the left-hand side here. So at the top, we've got the grocery store name. We've got the date, the time as well, all the items on this receipt, the quantity of the items, the unit of measurement for the items, the cost per unit, and the total cost multiplying the unit by the quantity. Down below, we've got the subtotal, tax, and the grand total. Then below, this is something you won't typically see on a receipt, but we just included this here for this example. But this is information that's usually on the database from the grocery store side. Now, if you're using a card, they'll probably have your name, they'll have an ID number assigned to you, maybe your phone number as well, and zip code. And to the right here, we've got the instructions which tell us to use a table over here to change the data types for whatever these questions ask for. So let's begin. Number 1, change the date to June 4th, 2014. Right now it's set to 4 of June. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, Format Cells, and this is a date, so we're going to want to go to the date data type. And so here under the category, you could select the data type. On the right is a little sample box of what it's going to look like, and these are the different types you can choose from. Now, choosing a different type will make it look a little different, but it's still using the date data type. So we're going to scroll through these till we find the one we're looking for. So it looks like it's going to be one down below. And there we go, June 4th, 2014. Select that. Number 2, change the time to 5:05 a.m. or p.m. So again, repeat the same process, format cells. But this time we're going to go to the time data type. And we're going to look for 5:05 a.m. or p.m. Looks like that's it. Okay, next one. Change the banana quantities from 1.6 to 1 2/3. So change that again, format cells, and it looks like we want fractions this time. Go to fraction, and there you go, the first one does it for us. Now number 4 and 5 also want fractions. Instead of doing it individually, you could also highlight multiple cells and make a change to them all instead of doing it one by one. This will save you time in the long run. Highlight them both, right click, format cells, fractions, and we'll select the first one. And that did it for us. Number 6, change the remainder of the quantity values to a number data type. So the remainder here, we could highlight them all, format cells, and we want number. And as a default, Excel adds in 2 places after the decimal point. We want that format. Now you could change it. You could put 1 or none, but if we put none, it's going to look exactly the same. So we're just going to leave it at the default. And there's additional formats here you could choose from, and you could play around with those at your leisure. There we go. Now change the cost column data type to accounting. For the cost column, we're going to change to accounting. And as you can see, Excel does some pre-formatting for us. Now I just typed in 0.59 earlier and it adds a 0 in front of it. It'll do that for anything lower than $1 or a whole number, but if it's a whole number, it's not going to add the zeros after the decimal point, as you can see in these two here. Excel does try to do some formatting for you based on what it thinks you want, but to tell it exactly what we want, we're going to change the data type. So format cells, and we want accounting. Accounting is going to add the $ symbol and a 0 if we need it. And there we go. It added the $ symbol all the way to the far left, and the numbers are on the far right. Next one, change the total column data type to currency. Do not apply this change to the totals at the bottom. So they just want it on these values here. Right click, format cells, currency, and looking at the sample, it looks exactly like the accounting sample, but it's going to look a little different. So we'll see right now how it's going to look. And this one, it doesn't pull the $ symbol all the way to the left. It hugs the digits to the right, so it's a little different. Number 9, change the tax value to a percentage data type with 2 digits after the decimal. So going down here, I want percentage and 2 digits after the decimal. So that works. Done there. Number 10, change the totals at the bottom to a currency value with only 2 values after the decimal point. Basically, they don't want to see all these other digits after the decimal point. They just want 2, which is a standard format. So we want currency, and as a default, again, it's already set to 2 places after the decimal. And we're done. Now these bonus items down below we're going to do as well, but I do want to mention that these are a little more difficult. Some are something common that you do, but they're special additions that Microsoft built into the program. So we'll go through them right now here. So change the ID number into a social security format using the hyphens. So we've got the ID number here with no hyphens. I'm going to right click, format cells. Now here it's not apparent of where it's going to be. There's no social security format listing here, but it is listed down below. So it's either going to be in custom or special. You could go ahead and play with it and find out where it is, but I'll show you right now too. Go to special. Here they got special circumstances. So the zip codes format, the phone number, and the social security format. For this number 11, we only want social security number. And there you go. So if you're working with a large set of social security numbers, instead of manually typing in all those hyphens, you might just want to type in the numbers, highlight all of your cells of data that are social security, and change the format to add in the hyphens automatically. That'll save you a lot of time in the long run. So number 12, change the phone numbers into a phone number format with the parentheses and hyphen. Go to phone number, down below, format cells, and again it was under special, phone numbers, and as you can see it adds in the parentheses and the hyphen. Done. Next one, change the zip code number into a zip code format with a hyphen. So here, this is an extended zip code. So it should be 5 digits plus an additional 4. But here we only see 8, which means there's a leading 0, and Excel typically doesn't show leading zeros. But under the zip code format, we can make it show up. Zip code plus 4 digits, and as you can see in the sample, it's going to give us exactly what we want. Now these last two are a bit more complex. You're not expected to know how to do these. I'm just showing you these as an example, but this is for more advanced users. And this just came about from a problem I did have at work where I was asked to do this specific formatting for a large set of data, but I created a macro, and basically these are the steps I added into the macro to do it automatically. So 14, force the ID number to be 10 digits long with the leading 0 in cell G28. So G28 is going to be right here, right next to the ID number. I want it to be 10 digits long with the leading 0. So I'm just going to add in a formula starting with an equal sign. All formulas start with an equal sign. Make it equal the value in F28. So I have a copy of that. Now I'm going to change the format, and this is going to be custom. And it's probably not in this list here unless I've already used it, which looks like I already have. And there you go. It's 10 digits long, so it's 10 zeros, and it's got the leading 0. There we go. And that was under custom because as I was building this example, it saved that format that I built. Number 15, force the ID numbers to be 10 digits long with the ending 0 in cell G29, which is right below the cell we were just working on. So again, I'm going to use a formula equals the ID number. Now to add a 0 to the end, I'm going to multiply it by 10, which adds a 0 to the end of it. And there you go. So with Excel, you could be as creative as you want to do whatever it is you want to do. There's not just one way of doing it. There's multiple ways of doing it. It's just up to you and basically your creativity. All right, so that's it for this example and this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment on this video and subscribe to our channel. You can do this and visit our website, www.optivest.net, to view more tutorial videos.